Democratic leaders are calling the bluff of Donald Trump and MAGA Republican leader Mike Johnson and Senator John Thune. They've said, let's do this debate in public. Let's meet and discuss what's going down with the shutdown and how we protect American people's health care. You call their bluff and you see how weak these MAGA Republicans are. Now, MAGA Mike Johnson says that he doesn't want to speak in public or have any meetings in public. He calls that theatrics. Says, quote, the House has done its job, MAGA Mike says, quote, we don't need to waste time on that nonsense. Those debates have been had. That's in response to Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries saying, let's do it any time of the day, but let's maybe do it in prime time so all Americans can see us discuss what's really at stake here. Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know about MAGA Mike Johnson, that he folded so quickly and in such a public way? Then Donald Trump had a meltdown in the Oval Office where Donald Trump admits that as it relates to the shutdown, it's all about healthcare, he says. It's about us wanting great healthcare for the people. But I thought you were saying it was immigrants and it was transgender people in Peru. Donald Trump then admits it. And this is what happens when you go on the offense and clearly articulate your messaging the way Democratic leaders are finally doing now. Here, play this clip.
Mr. President, on the government shutdown, Mr. President, if the vote today fails in the Senate, will that trigger layoffs?
It could. At some point it will. And, the Democrats are the ones that started this. And if you think about it, it's about health care to a large extent. It's about we want great health care for people. We don't want to give the money away to other people that come pouring into our country. And they've already poured because nobody's coming into our country. Now we have the border totally stopped.
Okay, it's about great health care for the people in the country. So extend the subsidies so that people don't lose their Affordable Care Act plans. Then Donald Trump claims he's having negotiations with Democrats. He says that they're actively taking place. No, they're not. The MAGA Republicans went home on vacation. Here, play this clip.
But it's pretty close to that number. And the way you stop them is not to give away, not to announce that you're giving everybody free health care, free this or that. But what that does is it affects the American people because the American people are unable to get good health care. Obamacare has been a wreck, as you know, and to do that, we have to keep it propped up and do the best you can with it. It's a mess. But a lot of things are going on in that. We talk about Hamas, then we talk about negotiations that we have going on right now. We have a negotiation going on right now with the Democrats that could lead to very good things.
What kind of
and I'm talking about good things with regard to health care.
Are you speaking with Democratic leaders? What kind of negotiations?
Well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. But we are speaking with the Democrats, and some very good things could happen with respect to health care.
Some very good things can happen with respect to healthcare. And by the way, did you see as he glitched there and just randomly brought up Hamas? Like out of nowhere when talking about healthcare? Guess they both start with the letter H. I don't know. And then you have MAGA Mike Johnson says, when the truth is on your side, you have nothing to hide. Okay, but y'all are literally hiding as Democrats have called your bluff. Here, play this clip.
I say the same things privately that I say publicly. We are consistent, and that's why it's easy for me to stand up here and share the facts. When the simple truth is on your side, you have nothing to hide from. I'm just presenting this to the American people. This is the fourth time we've done that.
And now let's bring in Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. Leader Jeffries, good to see you. Really weird press conference that MAGA Mike Johnson had today. And his team also put out a response to you saying, let's discuss these issues in public, in front of the American people, transparently. MAGA Mike Johnson said that it would be theatrics to meet in public, and he rejects that. I want to get your response to MAGA Mike Johnson rejecting a meeting with you and other Democratic leaders, perhaps in public.
It's not theatrics. It's what the American people deserve. Donald Trump and Republicans in the House and the Senate shut the federal government down because they are unwilling to provide health care to working class Americans, middle class Americans, and everyday Americans. And Mike Johnson needs to defend that position publicly. They refuse to meet privately. They don't want to have a negotiation. They don't want to sit down to try to reopen the government, enact a spending agreement that actually makes life better for the American people and addresses the Republican healthcare crisis. And so because of that refusal to sit down and work this out privately, my view was, let's have a debate publicly. You can air out your position and we can articulate our position. Our position, we believe, is the right one for the American people. Cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save healthcare. If Mike Johnson and Republicans feel like they have the high ground, then defend your position publicly, bro. Defend it publicly.
You know, Trump said at that bizarre Oval Office press conference, he admits, he says this is all about healthcare and giving the American people better healthcare. That's what he said. He's never come up with a plan, but after MAGA Mike Johnson talking about immigrants and transgender people in Peru, I found it notable that Donald Trump said this entire shutdown, he says, is about getting Americans better health care. It was an interesting thing for him to say that in the Oval Office. What did you make of that?
Well, for the last 5 weeks, Democrats have been relentlessly talking about the need to address the Republican healthcare crisis and the fact that because of the largest cut to Medicaid in American history, that Republicans visited upon the American people as part of their one big ugly bill, which, by the way, was done so they could reward their billionaire donors with massive tax breaks. The fact that hospitals and nursing homes and community-based health centers are closing all throughout the country because of failed Republican policies. The fact that we need to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits in order to prevent tens of millions of Americans from experiencing dramatically increased healthcare costs, premiums, copays, deductibles in an environment where the cost of living in this country is already too high because of Donald Trump, his failed policies, the tariffs that are costing people thousands of dollars in additional expenses per year, the electricity costs that are through the roof, housing costs through the roof, grocery prices going up, and now they want to jam people with these skyrocketing healthcare premiums, copays, and deductibles. The American people have had enough, and Democrats are standing on their side. And clearly, Republicans are feeling the heat, feeling the pressure, because the president is now acknowledging that something needs to be done about this Republican healthcare crisis. Let's hope that he's not just talking about it, that he's going to be about it. We're here, we're ready, we're willing, we're able to sit down with any of them to get this situation done, to decisively address the Republican healthcare crisis.
And let's talk about if he's willing to be about it, because at that Oval Office bizarre press conference that he held, he claimed that he and the leaders of the MAGA Republican Party, MAGA Mike and JD and ostensibly Thune, were speaking with Democrats. I mean, his direct quote was, "We are speaking right now and negotiating with Democratic leaders." Is he being truthful or is he lying, Leader Jeffries?
As far as I can tell, that's a stone cold lie, because I have no idea who the president, the Trump administration, JD Vance, Speaker Johnson, John Thune, or any of that crew are talking to, because they certainly aren't talking to House Democratic leadership. And in my conversation with Chuck Schumer earlier today, and by the way, the Senate Democrats continue to hold the line. They've now voted this partisan Republican spending bill down 5 times over the last 2.5 weeks and are standing up strongly in defense of the healthcare of the American people, along with House Democrats. But there's no evidence, based on my communication with Leader Schumer earlier today, that Republicans are talking to anybody in terms of trying to reopen the government, enact an enlightened spending agreement, and address the issues that need to be addressed to protect the healthcare of the American people, and also to drive costs down, as opposed to the cost of living crisis in America continuing to suffocate the American people.
In fact, I saw earlier Congresswoman Virginia Foxx, MAGA Republican, she gavelled out where Congressmember McGovern was trying to address the swearing in of Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva, refused to even allow Congressmember McGovern to even kind of make that point, and they're still on a vacation. Like, MAGA Mike ordered the MAGA Republicans go on a paid vacation during the shutdown, don't show up. I know the Democrats are there working, but what does it tell you that this is their behavior, where they just left Washington, D.C. by and large and said, we're not even showing up to work?
Yeah, it's incredible. These aren't serious people. We're here, we're on duty as Democrats, and Republicans are on vacation, literally on vacation, because they are uninterested in dealing with these issues around the healthcare of the American people. They are uninterested in swearing in Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva, and they are presumably uninterested in doing that because they know that she's the 218th vote, which will force the administration, based on legislation that emerges from the House, to release the Epstein files. So none of this is on the level in terms of what's happening right now with my Republican colleagues. And it's extraordinary to me that they'd actually rather be on vacation and defend that position than be here in the House of Representatives to defend the health care of the American people, and at the same time to deal with the transparency issue with respect to releasing the Epstein files. They want no part of that, as you've documented repeatedly over the last several months.
By the way, how weird was it that weird might not even be the right word? During that Oval Office press conference, Donald Trump claimed that he didn't know who Ghislaine Maxwell even was. He's like, who's that? Oh, and then he was like, well, maybe I will look into it and call up the DOJ and discuss a potential pardon. Like, just a very, like that's what he's talking about. I mean, you told me about your Oval Office meeting with him. And in that Oval Office meeting, all he wanted to do was talk about like Trump 2028 hats and like weird stuff, and not even address their central lie that they were pushing. Like, it sounds like that meeting with him that you even had, where he refused to allow the cameras. He was distracted and unwell and talking about all these other things. Really strange when this is such a crucial issue for the American people.
Well, it's very interesting because originally Donald Trump did not even have a public schedule today. I guess he concluded that that was an unsustainable position after being on the golf course on Saturday in the middle of a government shutdown. That's not presidential leadership. That's the abdication of responsibility. And again, it's consistent with the notion of Republicans canceling votes, Republicans being on vacation, Republicans not being willing to actually debate the issues on the House floor because they don't have a defensible position. And Democrats are going to continue to press our case as it relates to protecting the health care of the American people, fixing the system that Republicans have now broken, and lowering the high cost of living in the United States of America.
Leader Jeffries, did you see that post by Marjorie Taylor Greene today? She goes, "Hi, this is your daily reminder that insurance has become unaffordable for most Americans. Health, auto, and home. I wish my party would make this a priority." Marjorie Taylor Greene, saying that.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I mean, listen, a broken clock is correct even twice a day, right? And so at the end of the day, she recognizes that this is not a phony issue. This is not a made up issue. Like, we're deadly serious about the need to address the affordability crisis as it relates to health insurance in the United States of America, as Marjorie Taylor Greene has herself acknowledged. And I think that's probably part of the reason why the Speaker of the House chose not to bring Republicans back, because they don't have a defensible position here. They've shut the government down literally because they don't want to provide affordable health care to everyday Americans. And now it appears that even Marjorie Taylor Greene recognizes that that's unsustainable. It can't happen, particularly in an environment when Republicans promised that they were going to lower the high cost of living on day one. But costs aren't going down, they're going up. Inflation is going up. The Trump tariffs are jacking up prices by thousands of dollars per year. And now we face this exigent healthcare crisis of affordability because of the Republican refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credit.
And Leader Jeffries, before we go, if Donald Trump or Mike Johnson or Senator Thune are watching this right now, what's your message to them about doing a meeting in public before the cameras to discuss healthcare and resolving all the outstanding issues?
Well, we need to get together to reopen the government, to actually have a negotiation that's bipartisan in nature, to reach a spending agreement that makes life better for the American people as opposed to making life worse, and that decisively addresses the Republican healthcare crisis. And we're ready, we're willing, we're able to do that anytime, any place, here at the Capitol, or we'll go back to the Oval Office. But if you invite us back to the Oval Office, make sure you have the cameras rolling.
Leader Jeffries, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Everybody hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.